I was 4 the first time I remember having body dysphoria. I tell this story a lot because it's a very easy way to explain to people why I am the way I am. A lot of you probably know this, but I was raised overseas because my family was involved with the State Department, and so my earliest memories are of living in Africa. We lived in the capital of Togo called Lomé, and we lived in an ambassador's. We were not ambassadors, we were diplomats, but it was an embassy housing, which was very nice and very protected. We had very high, like 10-foot garden walls topped with barbed wire, covered in local foliage and fauna, and we had trees, we had security guards, we had gardeners, and though we had a huge backyard, we didn't really have like an inset ground pool or a lot of maintenance. They're very expensive. What we did have was a kiddie pool. I don't remember how we got it. I don't even remember using it besides this one time. And my older brothers were in their swim trunks playing in the kiddie pool. And I think it was all 3 of them, but it might have just been the 2 who lived with us constantly. And they were late elementary, middle school age boys wearing swim trunks. And in my 4-year-old mind, I, who did everything with my brothers, wanted to hop in the pool with them. And since I was wearing my tiny little cargo short khakis, I just pulled off my t-shirt and went to go hop in the pool. And my mom, from the back porch, calls out to me, and she stops me. And she said, "Don't you want to go change into your swimsuit?" And without pause and without any really strong emotions about it, I just indicated, "I'm dressed just like them." I didn't see the difference, and at 4 years old, there wasn't a difference. I didn't know there was a difference between me and my brothers because I did everything with them. We were exactly the same in my mind. Sometimes I liked to wear princess dresses and things like that, and other times I wanted to be a knight, and I wanted to play Tekken, and I wanted to be just like my big brothers. The clarity of the memory ends there. I was 4. The memories come and go in bursts, but according to my mom, when her husband came home, he threw a fit and made us all stop, and I had to go get changed. But I knew when I was 4 that I wasn't a girl. Being trans, and my particular expression of being trans, being someone who is genderqueer, and that is the title that I have chosen to use for myself, I am masculinity and femininity. I am not a boy or a girl. I am masculine and feminine. And there's lots of jokes that I make about that, which I'll get into later this month, where I talk about explaining my gender to people. But I've known from the beginning what I was, and I didn't have words for it, and I tried to fight it and pretend like it wasn't there. But I knew from the beginning what I was, and it wasn't a girl. I was 4 the first time I experienced my own transness. And if I had known then what the vocabulary was for it, and I had had the choice then, I would have asked for hormone blockers. I would have asked for hormone replacement, because the body that I have now, because those hormones were allowed to move through my body, I hate. And I'm working a lot on self-love and self-acceptance and things like that. But when you're trans, and especially when you are not having a binary trans experience where you very solidly are a man and want to be a man and want to get top and bottom surgery and go through that hormone replacement, and you're being denied that, or vice versa, where you very solidly are a woman and you want to have top and bottom surgery and go through that hormone replacement therapy. It's very hard because there are days when I want to have my breasts and there are days when I want to bind my chest. But I'm never actually happy with my body. So for a lot of us who are non-binary, based on who I've talked to and what I've talked to them about, self-love and self-acceptance has less and less to do with liking the body we're given and liking how we express ourselves externally. And when I was 4, that meant going to the pool without a shirt and just wearing shorts in the safety of my backyard where it didn't matter. As an adult now, who is living in a state and in a country that does not protect or want to protect people like me, it means other things. It means wearing combinations of clothing that are alternative or peculiar, wearing clashing patterns or conflicting colors, orchestrating myself like I am from Wonderland or Oz, making myself feel peculiar so that when people see that I'm different, I'm in control of that different. It means sometimes I wear my binder, and sometimes I don't wear a bra at all, but I almost never wear a bra with an underwire or any support. It means that half the underwear that I do own are men's boxers. And whenever I can, the jewelry that I wear is simple and gender neutral, androgynous. And I sometimes angle for androgyny. And when I don't, a lot of times I'm angling for a performance of femininity or a performance of masculinity, dialing it all the way up to a drastic 13 in a way that is unrealistic, because I'm more comfortable being perceived in that way. Drag was so comfortable for me because I wasn't being anything. I was performing as a woman. I was performing as a man, and I could do those things comfortably without it hurting me. There's less and less ways for me to do that in a mundane life. Gender expression is different for every single person. Even cisgendered people who are not trans, who express their masculinity differently. There are a lot of guys who refuse to wear pink and purple because it's too feminine, and their gender expression can't allow for that. Or not even colors, but certain intensity of colors. I know plenty of guys who will happily wear like a royal purple, but won't wear lavender or periwinkle, even though it's the same color. Some guys really love really intricate, detailed patterns and really well-curated wardrobes, and other people feel, other men feel like a curated wardrobe is a feminine expression. So gender expression varies from person to person. Even the difference between cargos and jeans, skinny jeans, and, everyone's gender expression is different. What I've noticed a lot is that for those of us who are non-binary and trans, our gender expression, how we conduct ourselves in order to better align with who we are and how we feel, are put under a microscope and judged very aggressively and very harshly in order to communicate to us that what we're doing is not allowed. I was 4 and it was communicated to me that what I was doing was not allowed. This Pride Month, I've done a lot of different things the past couple of years. We did photo shoots where I talked about different queer celebrities throughout history, along with talking about the flag and why we have the pride flag. Last year I did written work where for the most part I talked and I wrote about queer politic and things like that. I'm going to very coming out monologue sort of a way. This year I'm going to do videos because those tend to get a little bit more traction on the internet. Just talking about my experiences as a queer person and how that's affected me as a young adult and how I've seen it affect my peers, my queer peers. Going to be talking about language, vocabulary, and the effect that our allies have on us. And I'm going to have a favor that I'm going to ask of you at the end of every episode as my ally and as my friend. Whenever you see us dressed, behaving, making choices in our posture, in the way we walk, in the timbre of our voices, if we pitch them higher or pitch them lower, whenever you see something that's different, don't point it out. Don't ask, why are you talking like that? Don't ask, so why are you wearing that? Don't make mention of it. Cool shirt, I really like it. It's fine. I really like your earrings, where'd you get them? That's fine. But don't ask us why. Because it's exhausting answering that question 45 times a day. And it makes us afraid. Because even if you're just asking why because you're curious, the next person might be asking why so that they can start a fight with us. It's hard enough for us to be ourselves when we're fighting with ourselves. We don't need to be surrounded by fear and questions constantly. And I will talk more about questions and the emotional toll of answering the same question repeatedly within the next couple of days. But we're already afraid, and we're already trying. Being questioned makes it scary. Even if you're not trying to scare us, even if you're not trying to hurt us, don't ask. Don't ask. Unprompted. That is my favor to ask of you today.